Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have one requested by my executive producer, Quirky Person. This is NightHawk22's Perfect Storm. I don't know anything about this song or this artist. It just sounds like a generic YouTube name to me, so maybe that's what they are, is just a YouTuber who makes music. I've got nothing. Quirky Person gave me nothing for this one, no context whatsoever, so I guess I'm just gonna have to go into it completely blind and see what happens. So without further ado, let's go! Well, this makes sense immediately. Ooh. I was just making a joke about it being a perfect storm and starting with the storm. I mean, I expected there to be music, but... Okay. Did not expect that either. All right. Ooh. Oh, we getting clubby. We getting Euro Club in here. Okay. Ooh. A little clap action. Ooh. Break for effect. Little pause. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, okay. This is shifting around more than I ever expected it to. More techno elements now. Okay. Not gonna lie, it kind of sounds like it comes off of like a Sonic the Hedgehog fan game. Not bad though. Not a bad thing at all. Okay. Bros shredding on that MIDI guitar. What's good is that sounds physically possible. Very difficult, obviously, but I like that it's not written to be like stupid impossibly difficult. I could hear somebody playing that, which is good awareness. I like it when composers don't overdo it to the point of like, wow, that's not possible. Especially on solos. And that big finish on the low piano note, of course. Why do people do that? It's not that it's a bad thing, it's just, it's so common. Maybe it is just a good resolution, I suppose. I like that the like thunder came back in at the end too. It just like fades back in. That's nice. Okay, I did not expect for this to be as competent as it was, I'll be honest. Okay, so I actually just got back from a little bit of a rabbit hole. I didn't go that deep. Obviously, that would kind of spoil everything for me if I learned all about this creator. But apparently a lot of people know about and follow NightHawk22. Apparently not the smallest person to ever make music music and has a pretty significant following, especially a lot of people on Reddit from what it looked like, but just in general, somebody who makes music that a lot of people like. I saw how many comments were on this video and I was like, okay, well, there's got to be some degree of following here, especially after seeing 293,000 views on this specific song. I was like, I've got to see more of what this person has done. I didn't listen to anything else, but I just wondered if they were still active since this one was like 6 years ago, and apparently yes, and apparently a lot of people really like this person, which is pretty sick. It's always cool seeing somebody who has a following like this, especially because it's not somebody in the public zeitgeist. They're not up there like with the main producers as far as I'm aware. I couldn't find anyone that they've collaborated with, for example, so that sort of thing really isn't their forte, and that is totally fine. Honestly, I find the indie scene a lot more welcoming than a lot of public-facing creators and producers who just have a lot of people following, but at the same time, it feels like they lost their heart over time. It seems like NightHawk specifically hasn't really done that and has been largely sticking to their guns for most of their career, if not all of it. Again, I haven't heard anything from like the early days, but from what I've seen people talking about, and there was somebody who even made an iceberg of their music, it seems like they have a healthy community that's been around for a while, and that's always really cool. Now, to talk about my experience with this song specifically, obviously I'm going to be very open and honest about this, so if you're an existing fan of NightHawk's music, do not take anything I say as criticism as slighting NightHawk by any means. I'm just here to critique, but also be open and honest, because I did like the song, but there are things about it that I personally found a little bit weak. That doesn't necessarily mean it's awful. At its core, this is actually a really well done song. Like I said, he has compositional awareness. That solo especially proved that to me. The fact that he wrote that sensibly. Sure, it was a little all over the place, but that was just in speed. I could see somebody and hear somebody actually playing that, which means that NightHawk is very aware of like what the physical limitations of music are compared to other people who will try to do the same thing, but then make the part so impossible. It's like, you can't do that on a guitar. It's just not physically gonna happen. Same thing happens a lot with drums. It's like, okay, you can't play that with just 4 limbs, you know? A lot of that does happen, and NightHawk didn't do that for this song. They made a song that was generally very well balanced and didn't have anything that was stepping over itself or struggling to make any contextual sense. It all worked really well. The weak parts, though, were mostly in the post-production side of things, I think. There was some sound design stuff. I love sound design things. This one was pretty simple with the sound design, especially since it was mostly just the storm sound effects, and storm effects are kind of easy to just throw in there. You know, you don't have to try too hard to mix them in to make them fit well. And there weren't any like specific synths in here that felt like they were being mixed to accent any other particular part that wasn't melodic, you know? This was a very straightforward song, and that is totally chill, but the mix of it was a little weak. And it wasn't even the weakest, it's just the fact that this is like an electro trance dance sort of sound, and there is a lot of wiggle room in techno to try and mix things, and some people prefer this like higher, thinner sort of mix, and to me, I was missing low end. It didn't really feel like there was much of that in there, and I was kind of losing some interest in my brain because I'm expecting this like wide array in the mix, because techno and EDM in general, basically every subgenre of it, has so much potential to put whatever you want, wherever you want, without stepping on each other's toes. Like, every layer can be on its own little platform and be very well mixed. So for this song, it just felt a little thin. It's not necessarily bad, and honestly, the high end was pretty well balanced. I didn't have any moments where I was like feeling fatigued in the ears. That's pretty good, but the low end was definitely lacking. The mid-low range was just not really much going on there. It seemed like it was just sticking to rhythm, and while that's fine, it does leave a little bit to be desired there. But that also said, this is an indie person, presumably, and this is a 6-year-old song, so it's very possible their production methods have changed over the years, and maybe they even started better than what they became. That has happened before with other EDM people, where they will start out very competent and well mixed, and then at some point, it just kind of gradiates downward, and things just fall apart, and their own personal tastes and preferences start to kind of get in the way of what a good mix might be, and things just get a little bit thin. And it could also happen in the opposite, where things will get way too muddy and way too low heavy, and you miss all of that availability in the top range. So it's a very hard balance to strike, but with EDM, it's so flexible that you can do that if you stay aware of it. And I think that for this song, at very least, be it they started better and got worse, or they started worse and got better, either one could be true. It's probably the latter on that side, but point being, it's a little bit weak, and it was 6 years ago, so it's very possible their entire sound has changed since then. I just only have this song to pull from as an example of it. But aside from those nitpicks, I actually really like the composition of it. I think the chord progression was really solid. The general, again, compositional awareness, very, very solid here. I actually feel like this song would do really well in one of those like slowed down edits, potentially. I just, for some reason, this sound and the way it's made feels like it would lend itself to that approach very well. So if you haven't, I haven't, but maybe give it a shot, slow it down to like 0.75 or something. That might open up an entirely new door of appreciation for those who haven't heard this song, but like I can imagine that working really well. So if you already like this song and you want to try that out and haven't already, do that. Or if you have, let me know if I'm right down below. I'm not going to do it just to save myself time here, but it really feels like it would work well in that sort of space. But I've been yapping about this song enough, so thank you all so very much for watching, and thank you, Quirky Person, for throwing this in here. I love listening to these people that I've never heard of before, never would have found otherwise, have no reason to have stumbled upon them, and this is why I love having that executive producer queue that is whatever people want me to get to, and it can just be anything. Having that door wide open is exactly why this is fun, because I can listen to songs like this and be surprised and intrigued and dig a little bit deeper into who that person is and what they've done, and even what else they have to offer. So it's always cool to see that and experience it. So thank you, Quirky Person, for throwing this in here. This is just another one of those things where I get to hear an indie artist kick ass and me be surprised about it. Honestly, I'm very impressed. But if you have any other songs you want me to get to, you can always leave those in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee one, much like Quirky Person did here, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, where you can go to that tier that will guarantee me listening to whatever you want. It doesn't matter who it's by, what it's from, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!